This boring skill has made me over $5 million in income. And in this video, I'm going to share with you on how to build this skill and the 5 principles that you need to actually make money with it. You might be wondering, what is this skill? From the last 16 years of my sales experience, going from a sales rep to entrepreneur, I can tell you the most valuable skill you can have is sales leadership. Most entrepreneurs hire sales reps and sales managers, set some KPIs and hope for the best, whilst the 1% hire a sales leader and follow these 5 principles that I'm going to give you in this video. So let's get into it. Starting off with principle number 1, becoming a leader worth following. Now, you might be running a business, or you might be someone who aspires to run a business. The person that you want to become is someone that others see as a guide. Most people think running a business is about telling others what to do, to be able to just get your goals, put money in your pocket. Most of the businesses that we work with, they get capped between 2 and 3 million revenue because the person who was running the business thought they just tell people what to do. That's how you hire. And that's not how you're supposed to lead a team. Getting people to want to work for you is a big component of this. In 2017, I worked for a gym chain and I was handed 4 people to manage. And these 4 people came in with an attitude where I was their colleague, and the next day they were now being managed by me. Instantly, what do you think they were going to be like? Hey, we're going to reject this guy. We don't see him as an authority. He was one of us. Who is he to tell us what to do? In the first week, I thought I need to come in all guns blazing. So I thought I need to lay down the law. That's what my mindset was. So I came in, and the guy who used to always come late, I said to him, John, you can't come late anymore. You've been coming late every single week. Don't do that. Please, let's perform together. And then the next guy would come in and his issue was like putting sales onto the board and logging them onto the whiteboard. Then I said to him, hey, can you make sure you put these on the whiteboard? Instantly, these guys turned around and went, what? He's telling us what to do. And one of them just literally stood up and said, mate, you're not telling me what to do. I'm not listening to you. I went to the general manager and I kind of said, they're not really following what I'm saying. And he kind of laughed because he knew it was coming. He knew I was an immature leader. And I thought telling people what to do is how you get them to do it. But the number one thing that I've learned, it's not about telling people what to do. You've got to win them over first. And the only way to win them over is to actually give. It's not to ask. So when I asked one of the sales reps, what's the issue? Why are you not being able to perform for the last few weeks? He blamed the computer login. He said the fact that the computer login, he was not able to log in on the downstairs computer when he's making a sale after showing someone around. That's the thing stopping him. I knew it wasn't. I knew it was that he's not pushing hard enough on the sale. He's not following up. The CRM's not updated. And what I did was I said, okay, not a problem. I will go and get the login fixed. I went, I called IT. Then I had to make friends with this guy from IT. Then I added him on Facebook. Then I spoke to him outside of work. And all of a sudden now he's fixed the login. And I've gone back to the sales rep and I've said, you know, John, I've actually fixed that login for you. You can now log back onto the computer. And he went, no way. It's been 3 months. He said, how did you do it? What I did was I needed to make sure he feels comfortable to come to me and he sees me as a guy that can fix his problems. And that's a big component of leadership. Your team has to see you as a guy that can allow them to earn more money, do their job, progression. The progression that they're going to get in their job is through you. It's not going to be without you. If they see that it's done without you, they're not going to need you. So I created a need. I said, anytime you need something, just let me know. And then the next time he needed something, he definitely came to me straight away and I was able to help him with that again. So to become a good sales leader, you have to be able to unlock the door for other people to walk through it first. Now, the big lesson I want you to actually take away from this is to learn the individual goals for each person and motivate each team member on their individual goals. Okay, so you understand principle 1 of this boring skill. Coming into principle 2, the next principle that you need to know is a sales team system. Morgan, who worked with us in the past, was a SaaS business owner. He was making about $1 million a year and he had a low ticket SaaS business and he wanted to build a sales team and he said, hey, I'm going to launch a high ticket offer and I want to get to $3-4 million in the next year. He had the customer base. All he had to do was create a high ticket offer for those lower ticket customers to ascend them. And his logic was, I'm just going to hire a sales rep and then he'll call those leads and we'll be able to ascend them and I'll have an offer. Well, if it was that simple, every single business will jump from 1 to 4 million. But why does it not? Well, they need to build out a sales system. And a sales system has different components to it. Now, a system scales and individuals don't. This is the first thing I want you to learn. I was told that shortcuts don't exist in business, but I can tell you they do. Because I'm the type of guy who to look for shortcuts in everything. Even as a kid, I would try to skive my way through school. I would do everything to look for shortcuts. To build out a system to be able to build a sales team, what did we do with Morgan to take him from 1 to 4 million? First thing we did, we put a structure in place for his sales cycle. So then he had an actual sales process. So we designed a sales process going from his marketing engine, his setter engine, and closer engine. So these are 3 different engines that you would design. And we mapped those out in a business process map. Now you've mapped those things out. Now you need to have the next thing, which is recruiting and onboarding systems. We design recruiting and onboarding systems within our Sales Leaders OS, which is how to recruit, how to do the different stages of interviews. Interview stage number 1, which is more of a culture test. Interview stage number 2, which is a skills-based test. And interview stage number 3, which is more of like an offer and how to make sure they're vetted and the right person for the job. We actually build out a recruitment process for all the companies we work with. Because the truth is, 50% of sales reps that work in your business will fail. They'll not actually last. Or they'll sink your company. You'll keep them and they'll not be performing. And when the stats show that 50% of sales reps don't perform to KPI in the first month, it's because people don't have the great onboarding system. They don't ask those hard questions. They don't role play properly. You can only design all of these things if there's an actual system. And we call this our Sales Leaders OS. And our Sales Leaders OS is something that I've actually come up with over 10 years of sales management, where we build out a system and hand it to a business owner. So point number 3 is about the skill and will chart. On the left-hand side, you've got the skill, which shows someone's competency at the job. On the bottom, I'm going to put their will. So their effort level, the sheer effort they're putting into their job. What I want you to do is look at one of your team members and think, how much effort is this person putting in compared to how much they're trying? Let's say someone's not performing well, and you have a sales rep who you think, hey, this person's not performing well, they're not performing how they should be. I don't know how to approach this hard conversation. I'm going to give you the principle on how to have that hard conversation with this matrix that we're going to give you today. Now, everything's about establishing a gap. When you're making a sale, you create the gap where you are to where you want to be. Whether it's a B2C offer like losing weight or a B2B offer like making more money, you will say, what is the gap? And it's the same with developing your team and your sales reps. It's about creating a gap, and you create that gap by marking where they are now to where they want to be. Now, this is what you're going to do. You're going to ask one of your sales reps, mark where you think you are based upon a 10 on this skill level being the most skill that you can have, compared to the will, 10 out of 10 effort. Let's say they've marked themselves quite high up, but you really believe that they're actually putting in no effort, then you're going to draw a line between that. And this is our gap framework. And this is my framework that I've come up with. And the gap framework is grounding, alignment, and progression. So grounding is marking where they are. So where are you right now? Alignment is the conversation that you're going to have between you both to make sure you're on the same page. And progression is how you move from where they are now in the skill and will matrix to where they want to be. If you can get them to understand there's a gap, and the truth is, most people deep down, they know they're not doing enough, but they need you to point it out. If you can point it out to them and they can then accept it, that's when you can work through it together. Now, just a caveat here. If you go into the skill and will matrix conversation with someone without knowing their deep desire, where they want to be years from now, you're kind of going in and pitching on a sales call without knowing why someone is on the sales call in the first place. So you have to know why they're there. When you know why they're there, then you can use those reasons like, hey, you told me that you want to live in a beach in Barcelona. Me? What can I do to support you? How can this, so the commission that you make here, allow you to get there sooner? But even the most profitable teams need the right leadership approach, which brings me to point number 4, which is designing a point system. With your sales team, create a point system on how you can incentivize them. I've been managing sales teams from the time I was in an office with a whiteboard, with the whole team there, all the way to remote teams. And I can tell you, this system works for both scenarios. What you want to do is you want to create a game out of everything. Let's say you have a setting team, and your setting team is booking 4 appointments per day, and that's their KPI. You'll say to the setting team, whoever gets the most appointments every single day gets 1 point. Whoever is the first into work every single day gets 1 point. Whoever gets the most points that day gets an extra $50 bonus, or gets an extra $100 bonus. Instantly, you might be watching this and thinking, am I going to be sending them $50 to $100 every single day for doing this thing? If you have more than 2 or 3 setters, or even you can do this for sales reps as well, if you can create this bonus system, the amount of ROI that you'll get from your sales team for creating a system like this is mind-blowing. You'll look back on previous last month's numbers by creating an incentive-based system, and you'll think, I don't know how we got so much more from those same leads. The reason you did, because people were incentivized to call those leads like dogs. They were calling those leads and making sure they were hunting them down and closing them because it's benefiting them. So what we do is we'll pay out our setters and closers every single day for the bonus. When you send $50 to their bank account that day, at the end of that day or the next morning, instantly they see that this works and that fast return is addictive. They'll then do it again. And what you're going to find is it creates such a competitive spirit within your business, and also it allows you to hold the team accountable so they are always motivated. So who's the best on this point system? Who's hitting these KPIs? KPIs will be something that's never missed when you have a good point system implemented in your business. All right, so that was principle number 4, which brings me to the last principle, principle number 5, which is a performance improvement plan. A performance improvement plan is a specific plan that you create for someone who is not performing and who you think won't be lasting at the job. 90% of the time when someone's put on a PIP, they don't actually make it out, they're going to be sacked. But we put that in place because it cuts the dead weight out all the time. If you've got a sales team that's not performing, you need a system to be able to say, hey, you're not performing. If you just go around and tell people, hey, I don't feel like you're doing this job properly, you're always going to clash because there's no accountability, there's no clear goal. 50% of sales reps actually fail on month 2. And they fail on month 2 because in month 1, they either didn't get enough support or they just didn't really get onboarded properly into the job and you waited on them. Most people wait for a sales rep to save their business when what actually happens is you build a system for somebody else to come in and make sales. No one's going to save your business apart from you. That's the hard truth. And the second month, if they've not performed, or in any month, if they've had 2 back-to-back months, I just want to write down, hey, here's all the things that you're not doing right now. I'll put it on the screen what a normal performance improvement plan looks like so you can see some of the questions. If you feel like you want this performance improvement plan, what I'd like you to do is go into the community below. In our school community, you're going to see the options and the modules around a performance improvement plan. You can just take our template because that's what we use for some of the biggest businesses. We run millions of dollars worth of revenue every single month in other people's sales teams. So we have every SOP and process, and you'll be able to see how you can measure what they're not doing right now, how they're going to get there, what support they need from you, and how you can implement that change from them and how they can implement that change from their behavior and their goals to be able to start performing again. Now, before we wrap up this video, sales leadership isn't about managing people. It's about architecting a system that creates an environment for growth. Whilst other sales managers maintain mediocre standards, you can hire sales architects to build wealth generating machines. If you want to be able to scale to 7 and 8 figures, then you need to be able to follow these steps to be able to become a sales leader. I'll see you on the next video.